The silence in examination hall stretched wide. 23 of the Thari Waracat's finest had finished tactical analysis in 30 minutes. Their answers sat neatly stacked and waiting to be, each one a predictable rigor of standard siege stock from the approved galactic. And then there was the Liam sat in the back corner, still hard at work, his stylus scribbling across with a casual confidence who had all the time in the world. Which wasn't possible, because the exam had a strict 2-hour limit, and they were now at hour 2 and counting. Instructor Vector Zion watched from his elevated place, mandibles clicking and barely contained irritation. This human in trouble was day one of the exchange. Not the disrespectful kind, not the flunking out kind. He was the kind of trouble that came from sticking your hand in an alligator's mouth. All right, students, it's time, Vector announced, his voice carrying with the authority of 20 sites in the Zenthari mill. 23 cadets immediately powered down their tablets, except for Liam, who continued to write. No, things could never be easy. Vector's second throat Zack ended slightly, a warning sign that any good Zenthari. Cadet Liam, the examination period has concluded. Oh, already? But we were having so much fun. Alright, I'll just this last sentence on classified example. Liam said, tapping his stylus against. Although, I do have one quick question. When you asked about siege tests, did you want ancient, modern, or the classified? The examination dead quiet. Not the comfortable students finishing tests, but the kind of quiet that right before someone said something that would get them expelled and court-martialed. Vector's eyes narrowed to already grow tired of the human. Cadet, the parameters of the scene were clearly defined before we began. Historical siege tactics from approved galactic military doctrine. Right, but which historical period? Liam's tone was genuinely curious, like he was asking about lunch options, especially the dessert DLC. Because look, I've got examples spanning about 8,000 years, and the approaches are really different depending on whether we're pre-industrial, conventional, or modern warfare, or even Liam paused, glancing at the other. Well, the other stuff. Other stuff? The words came as barely more than a hiss. You know, Liam waved his hand, the things we don't talk about in polite company. War crimes, illegal weapons, nerve gas, strategies that violate about 15 galactic convention, the kind of classified 33 alien fiction turned towards the human. Expressions ranging from fascination to absolute. War coordinator Vi Corvin, who had been observing from the back of the hall, felt her combat-hardened nerves, while Vector's claws extended involuntarily, preparing for an inevitable. Cadet, you will submit your examination immediately and report to... Oh, actually, I'm pretty much done. Liam powered his tablet and stretched, joints popping. Just wanted to make sure I was covering the material. So I went with a mix of 3 approaches. Figured that would give me a sense of analysis. He stood up, tablet in hand, and walked towards the front with the easy comfort of someone who had just aced pop quiz, instead of what he had actually done, an inciting interstellar incident. Oh, and Instructor Zion. Liam paused at the end. You might want to expand yours. The galactic military history arc is missing some pretty significant conflict. I mean, I get why. Most of them have ended badly for everyone involved, but it also makes it so much harder for proper context for defensive strength without official doctrine. He placed his tablet on the submission rack, and with a soft click, it somehow sounded less than a plasma cannon. Well, thanks for the extra time. See you next week. Liam walked out of the examination hall like he was heading to, while behind him, 23 future militaries sat in stun, and 2 career instructors stared at a tablet that might contain the most brilliant tacticalists in academic, and hopefully not a detailed key to war crimes that predated the galactic. Coordinator Corvin was already reaching her emergency care. Her fingers hovered over the academy command, and then, thinking better of it, it lowered, finally tapping galactic military, a direct line with the Zenthari high count. Liam's tablet sat innocuously, its black screen reflecting the overhead light. Inside its memory banks, roughly 4,000 words of us waited to be read. An analysis apparently cut siege tactics in 8 millennia, and referenced conflicts missing from official galactic, and casually mentioned strategies that might violate every rule of civilized war. written by an exchange student who acted like discussing potential war was as normal as commenting on the weather. Vecthard shook as he reached for the tab. Shortly thereafter, an emergency meeting in the conference room Alpha Prom, the Academy's most secure briefing. Coordinator Corvin had managed exactly 43 sleep before Instructor Zion's frantic call message dragged her into the room. This had better be good, Campbell. Zion's tablet projected a holographic display. Text scrolled in neat, organized, academic format, proper citations, and the kind of methodical analysis that would take any military proud, or it would have, if the content had not been absolutely terrifying. You have to read. He starts with conventional approach. Standard siege approach from the hegemonies, really textbook material. Zion jetted in the display. Here, in Section 2, Modern Application. Weird. General Mox felt dragged from his own bed for this impromptu crisis. Lean forward. This is starting to sound a lot like this new meaning of had better be worked. Instructors that swallow, nerd. Well, apparently anything within the last 2,000 years counts as. He references something called the Stalingrad Protocol as an example of defensive siege test. He claims it demonstrates how industrial-era urban warfare can be adapted to modern shield grids. Corvin faltered. I've never heard of Stalingrad. It's not in our database, and none of his references seem to be either. Analyst spoke up from her position at the. I've been running searches for this hour. The Battle of Thermopylae, the Siege of Constantinople, and something minor, D-Day. Whatever that is. They're all coming up negative. 0 matches, galactic military. Could he making up these events? Asked General Welland. Zion activated another section. Section 3. Historical context, strategic innovation. Quote, while the 300 Spartan defenders of Thermopylae ultimately lost the tactical engagement, their strategic use, terrain manipulation, and control retreat created a template that influenced defensive doctrines for the next 2,500. Similar principles can be observed in the Geneva Line of 1940 or the successful Viet Cong tunnel net of the 1960s, and the urban warfare adaptations documented in the Battle of Fallujah. The room fills except for the soft hum of the ventilation. That seems awfully detailed. Student imagine out of nowhere. He's referencing a completely undocumented military history, one I've heard nothing about. Oh, it gets worse. Zion continued. Section 4. Classified application and ethical consideration. General Tharl clause extended. Ethical consideration from a student? Quote, while siege tactics involving civilian populations is obvious moral concern, historical precedent suggests that despite defensive scenarios being generally fought in matrices, sometimes a strategy that would normally violate standard rules of the atomic bombardment of Hiroshima in 1945 represent the ultimate expression of siege break through overwhelmed force protection, intimidation. Though the long-term consequences clearly demonstrated by such approach remain classified under current galactic war. Coordinator Corvin stood up so fast her chair scraped against them. He just casually referenced weapon development and deployment against civilian. As a historical example, Zion nodded, as if they were discussing a foot. Analyst Voss terminal. Ma'am, I'm getting a priority communicating fleet. They want to know why someone just accessed restricted military archives using an Academy student. General Tharland turned. He didn't access our archives. These references are not in our system. The implication hung like nurse. Corvin activated her direct comm to Academy Committee. This is Coordinator Corvin requesting immediate contact with Earth's diplomat liaison, Priority Alpha Clearance.